the worst. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. With us today, Andrea Tantaros. Jedediah Bila, host of Money with Melissa Francis on our sister network Fox Business, Melissa herself. And today's hack.
My back is great.
Yeah, the last time you were on,
it's my knee. That's
right. I've been working out. I mean, if you lift me now, you'll find I'm
yeah, we got pictures of him. He just got back from Davos, and he was there working out in the morning.
The only guy at the gym.
And not shaving, apparently,
yes.
too. I'd like
manly, very man. Oh,
goodness gracious.
Oh, boy.
All right, you're going to need that because it's cold out.
There are worse things than doing push-ups with you on my back.
Oh, okay. It might be like shoveling snow. Let's get to this. It's been a pretty...
was just routine. And I wonder... well, if it really, I mean, listen, the threat of ISIS, the threat of Al-Qaeda, and...
that is... listen, I have no problem with having some degree of dialogue with these folks. We need to get our people back. And I will just say this. Yes, things are really bad following 9/11. But if you lived in the 1980s, I'm old enough to remember the 1980s, we did have Achille Lauro. We did...
valuable. It could be swapped later.
President Reagan opened up negotiations with Iran, just to have, in a back channel way, just to have some dialogue.
Okay,
and possibly
but
bring
Charlie, I got to call you on this. This is a little bit different. Are you saying that we should be negotiating with ISIS or Al-Qaeda?
No, we don't. Well, no, negotiation.
I mean, it doesn't matter what channel you're on.
No, negotiation is sending Secretary of State over there.
If he had said, we don't do this.
Right.
Right. I mean, he's saying that it's...
Quick points on this. One, it's a little different than when Reagan was in office. The threat that at least he's describing, it's metastasized and gotten a lot worse. They're highly sophisticated, as you know, very different than the Iran-Contra days. Also, he says we're in a war against Al-Qaeda. The president didn't even mention Al-Qaeda in the State of the Union. What gives here?
That's true, and why not bridge the gap and say...
they made. Listen, Bergdahl, I feel bad for his parents. But think about it. Was he worth the prisoner exchange?
Yeah.
You talked to a lot of people in the Army,
and they would say no.
Look at ISIS. They now have said, well, we don't want 200 million for the other Japanese hostage. We'll take other prisoners.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Millions of Americans in the path of a potentially...
They clearly, listen, this movie is now exposing the unholy alliance are, liberals like Howard Dean and the Hollywood elite, because they hate this movie, and it's really disgusting. Do you remember the interview when Sony pulled back from Aaron D. and watch the interview because it's patriotic to watch this stupid movie?
Ridiculous. Michael Moore, because he doubled down on...
No, he hates religion.
I'm so confused. I'm trying to figure out how Jesus...
organized religion.
Once as Hillary Clinton gets ready to run, that the loony left is more insane, much more insane than disgusting
we're
comments.
The loony left, give us money. He said there's so much anger in this country right now, and you're like, no kidding.
Well, lecturing us on how to manage our emotions. I mean, to Harris's point, all of a sudden lecturing us. I think it's...
what would Jesus do?
I mean, look, I think this is the first time he's been relevant in a really long time. I don't even want to talk about Michael Moore because I'm just sick of talking about him. But I am really glad to see that Clint Eastwood stood up for this movie. I also would like to maybe challenge Howard Dean. I mean, if he thinks that the Tea Party is going to see this movie, millions and millions of people, over 50 million people have seen this movie. The Tea Party is apparently huge and a lot more powerful.
And taking over Hollywood.
Yeah.
Wow.
You hear this. What do you think, and how do you address this with your kids? I mean, there's a difference between guiding your kids and eating healthy and making healthier choices, and then this pressure to be thin, and sometimes when it comes to boys, to be buff, to lose weight as well.
One of the things I had not anticipated is that they're having. So if there's one child,
and I have an 8-year-old son, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I noticed him saying fat. Hear these things at a young age, it really sticks with you.
I remember growing up in Westchester County where we ate our mom out of house and home and worked out. I would work out to do healthy things. I think parents need to get educated between that. Typical woman should look like via Madison Avenue. And that's not all different sizes. I think working out, eating well, and if your kid, by the way, if you work out a lot, you're going to eat a lot too.
But then
that's a good thing.
Andrea, kids...
because of social media. And I think it's this craze of everybody posting selfies of themselves with no clothes on. Since when did we all have to take pictures of ourselves naked and share them with the world? And I'm being dead serious. And I'm not just saying the Kardashian family either and the young daughters. I'm saying young girls with Instagram accounts that are taking pictures of themselves in bikinis, naked, pressure, abs, butts, arms, legs, all the time. And so young girls are seeing this everywhere. It's not just in the magazines anymore. And also, Jedediah, adults too. So you have adults obsessed with how they look. They're talking about diets. Of course that's going to trickle down to the kids and the young girls and the young boys. I just think the selfie, self-obsessed generation is giving itself a neurotic obsession with being perfect. And you know what? You know what the real trouble is too? They can fix it and make perfection with filters and sparkling and cropping and, all that stuff.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with diet.
I don't know, though. The science guy, it was pretty convincing. He said they would have had to be deflated in a room. I guess the temperature would have to been 90 degrees.
So two things. We know that at kickoff, the temperature was around 51 degrees.
Yeah.
So technically all of them.
This is such a BS scandal. Let's be honest here. If it wasn't the fact that the Colts, who were allegedly the victims of this,
Seattle.
It's only Seattle, and let me tell you something.
But they were also the ones that tipped off that they would be doing this. They're the ones that said, wait a minute, you should check those balls.
If you know anything about football, which I know a little bit about, they've been doing cheating around the edges for years. I remember defensive backs putting stickum on their hands and all this other garbage.
You should see what we do for Outnumbered. Oh, baby.
Either way, Jedediah, look, some people love the story. Some people are sick of it. I hear it enough with the story. They're usually Patriots fans. What do you think, though? Who's going to take it?
I don't know who's going to take it, but I'll tell you, I don't think anyone really
to live
commercial.
through. I mean, we go through the players and their backgrounds and their sob stories and their girlfriends. And
we normally go through those commercials with girls in bikinis.
All
right, we're staying right here for Outnumbered Overtime on the web. FoxNews.com/Outnumbered. We'll see you right there.